Hello children, in this video we will be learning to solve quadratic equations using the quadratic formula. The quadratic formula is the final of the three main methods of solving quadratic equations. The first method was using factorizing, the second method was using completing the square method, and the third and final method is using the quadratic formula. So the quadratic formula looks something like this. X equal to negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac over 2a. This here is what we call the quadratic formula. Again, let's repeat the quadratic formula here. X equal to negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac over 2a. For one final time, repeat after me. X equal to negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac over 2a. The quadratic formula is x equal to negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac over 2a. Now let's see how we can use the quadratic formula to solve quadratic equations by taking a few examples. Our first example is 2x squared minus 6x plus 3 equal to 0. A quadratic equation is in the form of ax squared plus bx plus c equal to 0. First of all, what we should do is we should identify the a, b and c terms. In a quadratic equation, a is the coefficient of x squared, or what is the value in front of x squared. So in our example quadratic equation, what is the value of a? It will be the value in front of x squared, which is 2. So a is equal to 2. And then b is the coefficient of x, or the value in front of x. So in the above quadratic equation, what is the value of b? It is not plus 6, it is minus 6. b is equal to minus 6. And then finally, c is the non-x term of the equation. What is the non-x term of the above equation? It is plus 3. c is equal to 3. Now what we can do is we can apply the values that we got here for a, b and c to the quadratic formula and find the solutions for x. The quadratic formula is negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac over 2a. So let's apply these values to the quadratic formula part by part. X equal to negative b means the b value multiplied by minus 1. Since there's a negative sign in front of b, we have to multiply b by minus 1. So what is the b value here? It is minus 6. So we have to multiply the minus 6 by minus 1 like this. Plus or minus the square root of b squared. B squared means the square of the b value. Here the b value is minus 6. So we put minus 6 squared minus 4ac. So it means minus 4 multiplied by the a value multiplied by the c value. What is the a value here? The a value is 2. So minus 4 multiplied by 2 multiplied by the c value. Here the c value is 3 multiplied by 3 over 2a. 2a means 2 multiplied by the a value. Here the a value is 2. Now we can simplify this equation further. First of all, we can multiply minus 6 by minus 1. So x is equal to minus 6 times minus 1 is 6. Plus or minus. Now we can simplify what is inside the square root, which is minus 6 squared minus 4 times 2 times 3. So what is minus 6 squared? Minus 6 squared is minus 6 times minus 6. What is minus 6 times minus 6? It is 36. Here 36. And then we can multiply minus 4, 2 and 3. What is minus 4 times 2? It is minus 8. And then minus 8 times 3 is minus 24. 36 minus 24 is 12. So here we can put 6 plus or minus the square root of 12. And then we can simplify the denominator as well. 2 times 2, it is 4. We can simplify this equation further, because here the square root of 12, we can rewrite it as the square root of 4 multiplied by 3. Now we can rewrite this as square root of 4 multiplied by square root of 3. Can you see that we can take the square root of 4 here? What is the square root of 4? The square root of 4 is 2. because 2 times 2 is 4. So we can simplify this further. 2 square root 3. So we can simplify this equation further. 6 plus or minus 2 root 3 over 4. Here can you see that 6, 2 and 4, all three of them are divisible by 2. Since all the terms are divisible by 2, we can divide everything by 2. So what is 4 divided by 2? 4 divided by 2 is 2. And then 6 divided by 2 is 3. Plus or minus 2 over root 3 divided by 2. It's just root 3. So we have two solutions here. We can take the positive square root for one solution and the negative square root for the other solution. X equal to 3 plus square root of 3 over 2, or the other solution, x equal to 3 minus square root of 3 over 2 for the other solution. We can also keep this as decimal values. In the first solution, x will be equal to 2.37 when rounded to 3 significant figures. And in the second solution, x will be equal to 0.634 when rounded to 3 significant figures. These are the final answers. You can keep it in either fraction form or decimal form, but I prefer to keep in fraction form because it's more accurate. Let's move on to our next example. X squared plus 4x minus 8 equal to 0. Now what should we do? We should identify the a, b and c values. A is the coefficient of x squared. Now in the above equation, there is nothing in front of x squared, which means that the coefficient will be 1. So the coefficient a is equal to 1. And then what is the coefficient of x, which is b? Here the coefficient of x is 4. B is equal to 4. And then the next term c is not plus 8. C is minus 8. C is equal to minus 8. Now we can apply the a, b and c values to the quadratic formula. X equal to negative b plus or minus square root of b squared minus 4ac over 2a. Negative b means the b value multiplied by minus 1. So what is the b value here? The b value is 4. 4 multiplied by minus 1 is minus 4. Plus or minus the square root of b squared means the b term squared. Here what is the b term? It is 4. 4 squared. Minus 4ac, which means we have to put minus 4 times the a value, which is 1, times the c value, which is minus 8, over 2a. 2 multiplied by the a value, which is 1. Now we can simplify this equation further. X equal to minus 4 plus or minus. We can simplify what is inside the square root. 4 squared minus 4 times 1 times minus 8. 4 squared here is 4 times 4, which is 16. And then minus 4 times 1 is minus 4. Minus 4 times minus 8 is plus 32. 32 plus 16 here is equal to 48. So we can rewrite what is inside the square root of 48. And then we can multiply the denominator as well. 2 times 1 is 2. Now let's see if we can simplify the square root here further. Here we can rewrite the square root of 48 as square root of 16 times 3. Now we can separate them into two square roots. Square root of 16 multiplied by the square root of 3. We can take the square root of 16. Because what is the square root of 16? It is 4. And we can't take the square root of 3. So we just keep it as square root of 3 like this. Now we can simplify this equation even further. Minus 4 plus or minus 4 root 3 over 2. Now again, can you see that we can divide all the terms in this equation by 2? What is minus 4 divided by 2? Minus 4 divided by 2 is minus 2. Plus or minus 4 root 3 divided by 2, it will be 2 square root of 3 over 2 divided by 2 is just 1. So we can just ignore out the denominator because the denominator is 1. So we can get two solutions for x. X equal to minus 2 plus 2 root 3 and x equal to minus 2 minus 2 root 3. Those are the final answers to this quadratic equation. Let's move on to our third example. 3x squared plus 5x minus 7 equal to 0. Now what should we do? We should identify the a, b and c values. So in this example, a is the coefficient of x squared, which means it is 3. A is equal to 3. And then b is the coefficient of x. The coefficient of x in our quadratic equation is 5. B is equal to 5. And c here is the non-x term. In the quadratic equation above, the value of c is not plus 7. The value of c is minus 7. C is equal to minus 7. Now we can apply these values to the quadratic formula. X equal to negative b means the b value multiplied by minus 1. What is the b value here? It is 5. So negative b is 5 multiplied by minus 1, which is minus 5. Plus or minus the square root of b squared means 5 squared minus 4 times what is the a value? The a value is 3 multiplied by the c value, it is minus 7 over 2 times the a value, which is 3. We can simplify this equation further. 5 squared minus 4 times 3 times minus 7. What is 5 squared? 5 squared is 5 times 5, 25. Minus 4 times 3 is minus 12. And then minus 12 times minus 7 is 84. So we put here plus 84. And then 84 plus 29 is 109. X equal to minus 5 plus or minus the square root of 109 over 2 times 3. When we simplify the denominator, we get 6. Now here we can't simplify the square root of 109 further. So we can take the solutions to this equation by taking positive square root for one solution and the negative square root for the other solution. X equal to minus 5 plus square root of 109 over 6. And then for the other solution, x equal to minus 5 minus square root of 109 over 6. Those are the final answers. Let's move on to our fourth example, which is x squared plus 4x plus 3 equal to 0. Now try to solve this equation using the quadratic formula. Before I do, now what should we do? We should identify the a, b and c values. Here the a value is the coefficient of x squared, which is 1. And the b value is the coefficient of x, which is 4. And the c value is the non-x term, which is plus 3. Now we can apply these values to the quadratic formula. X equal to negative b means the b value multiplied by minus 1. So 4 multiplied by minus 1 is minus 4. Plus or minus the square root of b squared is the b term squared, which is 4 squared. Minus 4 times the a value, which is 1, multiplied by the c value, which is 3. Over 2 times the a value, which is 1. Now we can simplify this equation further. 4 squared minus 4 times 1 times 3. What is 4 squared? 4 squared is 4 times 4, which is 16. Minus 4 times 1 is minus 4. Minus 4 times 3 is minus 12. 16 minus 12 is equal to 4. Now we can rewrite the equation. Minus 4 plus or minus the square root of 4 over 2. Now here we can take the square root of 4. The square root of 4 is 2 because 2 times 2 is 4. We can rewrite it. Minus 4 plus or minus square root of 4 is 2 over 2. Now we can take two solutions out of this. X equal to minus 4 plus 2 over 2 and x equal to minus 4 minus 2 over 2. Minus 4 plus 2 is minus 2. Minus 2 divided by 2 is minus 1. And then in the next solution, minus 4 minus 2 is minus 6. Minus 6 divided by 2 is minus 3. Those are the final answers. Let's move on to the fifth and final question. 4x squared plus 7x plus 9 equal to 0. Now try to complete this equation. Before I do, we should first of all find the a, b and c values. A is the coefficient of x squared. So in this example, a is equal to 4. B is the coefficient of x. Here the coefficient of x is equal to 7. B equal to 7. And then c is the non-next term. Here the non-next term is plus 9. C is equal to 9. Now we can apply these values to the quadratic formula. X equal to negative b means the b value multiplied by minus 1. So here the b value is 7. 7 multiplied by minus 1 is minus 7. Plus or minus the square root of b squared is 7 squared. Minus 4 into the a value which is 4 times the c value which is 9 over 2 times the a value 4. Now we can simplify this equation. 7 squared minus 4 times 9. 7 squared is 49. Minus 4 times 4, it's minus 16. And then minus 16 times 9, it is minus 144. So 49 minus 144 is minus 95. So now we can write the simplified equation. X equal to minus 7 plus or minus the square root of minus 95 over, we can multiply the denominator as well, 2 times 4, 8. Now here, can you see that we have minus 95 within the square root? Can we take the square root of negative values? No, the square root of negative values are imaginary numbers. So if we write this as an imaginary number, it will be x equal to minus 7 plus or minus square root of minus 95. We can rewrite it as square root of minus 1 multiplied by the square root of 95 over 8. Now we can take the square root of minus 1. The square root of minus 1 is I, which is an imaginary number, equal to minus 7 plus or minus what is remaining in the square root of 95, and then outside the square root it will be I over 8. Now here what we get is a complex number or an imaginary solution. So we can tell that this equation has no real roots because this equation has no real solutions. So children, that is the end of today's lesson. I hope you understood what I explained to you today. If you understood everything, please like the video and subscribe to my channel for more maths, physics and chemistry lessons. If you have any questions, put them in the comment section down below. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next lesson. Bye bye.